Welcome back to episode 3 of the True Crime Syndicate of Adam Walsh. The article below from June 30th, 1981 explains a lot just how bad the drug smuggling was in the Bahamas, as well as Florida during the year and time of Adam's disappearance. In the beginning of this episode, I would like to show you guys a preview of a show that just premiered, I believe, on Netflix as a series called Hotel Cocaine. In this series, it explains a whole lot of what was going on in Florida in the 1970s and 1,980 seconds in Miami within the hotel industry and cocaine smuggling that was going on. And don't forget how close Hollywood, Florida, in which we know the Diplomat Hotel was located, in which John Walsh was the manager of, and the owner was none other than John Monahan, whom was also managing and had ownership in many other hotels and properties in Florida as well. Keep in mind the similarities you will see in this case through the Diplomat Hotel and the players in which were involved or played a role at the Diplomat Hotel during the time of Adam's disappearance. Remember the constant drug smuggling going on, John Walsh as the manager, John Monahan as the co-owner boss, James Campbell as the Cabana boy, John Walsh's brother Joe, whom ran to notify James on the Cabana beach as he was supposedly there for a photo shoot to set up things for a set. Keep in mind while watching also the officials involved, the DEA, government, high-end officials, presidents, celebrities. Think of the kidnapping and the cocaine.
South Florida has always been a smuggler's paradise. During Prohibition, rum runners hauled illegal liquor from the Caribbean islands to the coast of Florida. In the 60s, the hippies discovered marijuana and smugglers flew the fine Colombian into Florida by the ton. Then came the drug that changed everything. Cocaína.
Hold up, boys!
The marijuana routes became cocaine routes, and the money hit Miami like a tidal wave. Cocaine profits changed Miami's skyline overnight. And with the money came, well, you can probably guess. Over time, I would come to learn a hard Miami lesson, a lesson none of us wanted to hear. So listen close while you sniff that yayo, pop a pill, fuck that person who isn't your wife or husband. Make sure you don't forget, every pleasure has a price. Was a place that made Studio 54 look like a church picnic. The Mutiny Club. Fueling it all was cocaine. Yayo, toot, blow, sniff, sugar, bump, nose candy. If you were lucky enough to book a room, you could stay at the hotel. 138 rooms, each with its own individual theme. If the walls of this hotel could talk, muchacho, they'd tell an epic story. But since they can't, I guess it's up to me. My name's Roman Comte, and I'm the general manager of the Mutiny Club and Hotel. Guests came from all over the world, including the biggest celebrities on the planet. Mira, there's Liza Minnelli. She'll be up all night. Is that John Lennon in the booth? And over there is the president of Bolivia and his generals. The year was 1978, and the cocaine wars of Miami stopped at our entrance. We were Switzerland, neutral territory, where drug dealers sent drinks over to DEA agents and avoided killing each other because everyone was having too much fun.
Roman, you almost out of champagne.
Push the tequila, send the plane to pick up a couple hundred cases of Dom. Omar, smile. Life is good. Mr. Bonham, thought you left for tour.
Leave these gorgeous mutiny girls? No fucking way. Zeppelin can wait.
My job was to keep everyone happy at the Pleasure Palace.
What do you think?
Especially my boss, owner Burton Greenberg.
Roman.
Very important guest in the Lunar Dream Suite. A gentleman by the name of Hunter Thompson. Perhaps you've heard of him?
The journalist.
Oh, please. He's so much more than that. He speaks truth to power, just like I do. And he He is interviewing me for a piece in Rolling Stone. We did it, buddy! We did it! He's going to immortalize the mutiny. Want to do a line?
No thanks, I'm on the job.
Ah, yeah. Speaking of your job, let's play Find the DEA Agent at the Martini Bar. Got him? Good. I know people don't get busted here, but we don't want Hunter thinking we got narcs in the club, okay? Liza, I've got those roots for you!
Zulio, how can I help you?
I'll cut straight to the chase. I want to talk to you about Nesta Cabal.
And that's when I knew the party was over.
You know where we at? Hotel cocaine, hotel cocaine. You ready for more?
1978. We were the hottest pleasure palace in Miami. The Mutiny Club. The cocaine war stopped at our entrance. Drug dealers avoided killing each other because everyone was having too much fun. Enjoy your stay.
Let's play Find the DEA Agent at the bar.
Why'd you never tell me that your brother's the biggest trafficker in Miami?
We went our separate ways.
You have a young daughter. If her father was aiding and abetting a drug trafficker, I'm gonna need you to reestablish your connection.
You abandoned me.
I didn't want to kill people so I could sell drugs.
You're gonna have to prove something.
What's that?
That I can trust you.
I remind you that you're trying to keep your family together.
I will come to learn a hard Miami lesson. Every pleasure has a price.
Hope this clip from this series gives you a little idea of what exactly John Walsh was experiencing at the time of Adam's disappearance. We will now continue on in this story on uncovering the truth. June 2nd, 1983. Well. John's best pal, Jeff O'Regan, is implicated in Operation Jackpot. Operation Jackpot was a year-long government probe of South Carolina-based drug smuggling and the financiers who back such operations. It involved 7 federal agencies and 2 state agencies. Offload sites were in Charleston County, Georgia, Florida, Virginia, New York, and New Jersey. Apparently, drug smugglers have gotten so sophisticated that it's difficult to catch them in the act anymore. The article goes on to state that according to the indictment, defendants played different roles, took different tasks, and participated in the affairs of the conspiracy through various criminal acts. In fact, according to the article, the last and most profitable venture for the Riley ring occurred in the fall of 1981 when Les Riley, Leon Harvey, Steele, Roy Riley, Bauer, Robert Bob the Boss Byers, Campbell, Gadini, O'Regan, and Rode imported 100,000 pounds of hashish from Lebanon. Fall of 1981? You mean around the time Adam was abducted and murdered? Resulting in family and close friends flocking to the Walsh residence for support. With those close friends being Jeff O'Regan and his wife, Karen, who stayed with the Walshes in their home until after Adam's funeral, at which point John and Reeve then left town to spend a week with the O'Regans in Ithaca. And why? Yep. To reiterate, the face of America's most wanted and in pursuit, the man who claims to be fighting against crime and locking up drug dealers and gang members, was best friends with Jeff O'Regan, a drug smuggler of the Riley Ring. This is not just an acquaintance or someone John has known for a couple of years. Jeff was the college friend that got John the job as lifeguard and cabana boy at the Diplomat Hotel in 1970. John even states this in his interview with detectives. James Campbell does as well. Now we have two people very close to John Walsh involved in major drug smuggling, John Monahan and Jeff O'Regan. June 7, 1983, 2 days after Jeff O'Regan is implicated as a cocaine smuggler in Operation Jackpot, filming begins on the movie Adam in Houston, TX. This is a terrifyingly good example of predictive programming, red flag. Let's look at some excerpts taken from article published by the Sun Sentinel. NBC made-for-television movie. The film will tell the story of his parents' successful battle for improved federal laws relating to the investigation of missing children. Jabeth Williams, star of director Steven Spielberg's horror movie Poltergeist, will portray his wife, Reeve. Television star Daniel J. Travanti of Hill Street Blues has accepted the role of Walsh. John states, and Travanti's one of the nicest, unaffected people I've ever met in the entertainment business. Yes, John, thank you for clarifying. You've met several people in the entertainment industry. Walsh, who is serving as a consultant to the production. We will not show the actual abduction, explained production executive Sari Steinberg. We can't show it because who knows what happened. The focus of the scene will basically be on Reeve, right? So you can convince the public of her innocence. The story will use real names and culminate at an October ceremony in the Rose Garden, where President Ronald Reagan signed the Missing Children Act that bill established separate files within the National Crime Information Center computer systems for missing persons and unidentified bodies. Get ready for this one, people. Walsh said private elements of his family's nightmare also will be revealed. One scene will depict Walsh and his wife recuperating at the home of a friend in Ithaca, Nye, following Adam's funeral. You mean Jeff and Karen O'Regan of Ithaca, Nye? The same Jeff O'Regan implicated in cocaine trafficking in a newspaper article published 2 days before this one. Yes, that Jeff O'Regan. It hasn't even been 2 years since Adam was abducted and murdered. The production and release of this movie is beyond unethical and completely compromises the case. Too many people in powerful positions are involved, and they care more about making money off a movie and passing laws allowing the creation of a computer database for missing children accessible to law enforcement and non-profit organizations than actually solving Adam's case. Catching the perpetrator. Ms. Steinberg said both this fall's season and the winter 1984-1985 season have been discussed. Walsh is confident that whenever the movie airs, it will have a substantial audience. They say that even if this draws a low rating, it will be seen by 20 million people. Walsh said, that could have quite an impact. Referring to the movie, John Walsh states, it just proves one thing, that if a bunch of people do care and do work to change things, sometimes the effort is worthwhile. It hasn't even been 2 years since Adam was abducted and murdered. The production and release of this movie is beyond unethical and completely compromises the case. Too many people in powerful positions are involved, and they care more about making money off a movie and passing laws allowing the creation of a computer database for missing children accessible to law enforcement and non-profit organizations than actually solving Adam's case. Catching the perpetrator.
Instead, it seems a horrific situation has been contrived to intentionally sensationalize across every media outlet across the nation for years to traumatize the public, thereby creating a need for a nationwide clearinghouse. Fear, worry, panic, anxiety over missing children. They're playing on everyone's worst nightmare. It is beyond evident that the media has done an excellent job at driving the public's suspicion away from Adam's parents, John and Reve. Irrespective of the case being closed, the release of Adam, the movie, pretty much seals the deal insofar as the Walsh parents being suspects is concerned.
It was a long-awaited day for John Walsh from Florida, who has lobbied hard in the past year to make this bill a reality. The case of his 6-year-old son Adam is still not closed. He disappeared from a Hollywood Sears store in July 1981, and after an exhaustive search, only part of his remains were found in a nearby canal. What Walsh now hopes is that this legislation will reduce the thousands of similar tragedies that occur each year.
It's a tiny step that should have been done 10 years ago. It will create some awareness. It will create awareness among local police and parents, and it will be the first initial tiny step in a tremendous problem that has to be addressed in a greater scope.
Participating in the conference committee was the bill's sponsor, Senator Hawkins, who called it a great parental victory.
Now, the parents can now go to the FBI and verify whether the local police have put the child's name in the national computer. And if they have not, we have a letter of guarantee from the FBI, signed by Judge Webster, that the FBI will list the child then in the computer. So,
according to both Hawkins and Walsh, the importance of this direct parental access to the FBI must not be underestimated. One, because as of now, local police only report 10% of all missing children to the FBI. And two, because the first 48 hours after a disappearance are the most crucial.
Imagine if John or Reve were convicted during the production of this movie or after the release of this movie. I can think of a few things. Number one, being total loss of the people's trust. Number two, accountability. And there are many players involved here. John, Reve, the Hollywood Police Department, President Reagan, John's business associates at the Resorts International, and the Diplomat, and other associates. Senator Paula Hawkins, John Monahan, Alan Landsberg Productions, production executive Sari Sandberg, and etc. These players have way too much to lose at this point. Please note, I did forget to note crucial facts that may be considered. Not only is that typically considered a red flag to investigators, but it's also interesting in and of itself. It tells me that they had powerful connections, like, seriously, not all parents of missing children are able to get on Good Morning America. Appearing on that show also gets their story out on a national level, which is a key step in gaining public buy-in for the creation of new laws. Number two, Reve was driving with an expired driver's license the day that Adam disappeared. The proof is in the case files. When she is interviewed by investigators, this is part 16 continued from earlier. I believe it is even in the newspaper articles that I've posted as well. But no one has ever mentioned that, at least based on the research that I've done. On November 21st, 1983, an article from January 27th, 1986 states that the Walshes dropped the suit because it hindered their work on behalf of missing children. With John calling the rumors generated by James Campbell's testimony were unjustifiable and malicious. And we also find out that there was a 1.5 hour gap that Reve could not or would not explain about her activities the morning that Adam disappeared. July 22nd, 1983, John and Reve Walsh sue Sears Roebuck in the Hollywood Police Department for negligence and wrongful death. Pretty audacious and narcissistic, but beneficial for the public buy-in if they can pull it off. But on November 9th, 1983, it completely backfires on them when the judge rules that annoyance and embarrassment does not justify the prevention of testimony statements from being made public. If that's not a red flag, I don't know what is, as we've stated previously. If they truly were not involved in their son's disappearance and murder, they wouldn't be motivated to hide specific information regarding their personal and domestic life. They have also built an image of themselves for the public, an image that they want to uphold. Viewing the situation from this perspective, it makes sense why they dropped the suit 12 days later, November 21st, 1983. An article from January 27, 1986 states that the Walshes dropped the suit because it hindered their work on behalf of missing children. With John calling the rumors generated by James Campbell's testimony were unjustifiable and malicious. And we also find out that there was 1.5 hour gap that Reve could not or would not explain about her activities the morning that Adam disappeared.
Monday, NBC presents another world premiere movie. They were a loving, happy family until their son disappeared.
I've searched the whole mall and I can't find him.
Every parent's fear becomes the movie you must see.
Whatever happens, I love you. We'll go on.
Starring Hill Street Blues' Daniel J. Travati. Monday at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
On October 10, 1983, 2 years following Adam's kidnapping and death, the Adam TV movie premieres at 9 p.m. on NBC. The phrase underneath the movie title, Adam, is peculiar. 6 years old, kidnapped, tortured, and almost certainly murdered. Almost certainly murdered? Like, what? Evidently, the producers did not feel it was necessary to inform viewers that Adam's head was found in a canal. They sure did publicize it in the newspapers across the country, though. The Tribune article states, the movie was filmed in Houston, Texas. Producer Linda Otto of Alan Landsberg Productions first learned of John and Reve on the Good Morning America show and the Phil Donahue show. She states, knowing that this was a story that would hit home. The 2-hour-long movie tells how John and Reve Walsh followed their torment with an effort to help other parents whose children had disappeared, and that their dedication brought about Missing Children Act, which President Reagan signed into law. The law created FBI-administered National Clearinghouse for Information on Missing Children and Unidentified Bodies. The article states, the Walshes spearheaded the search for Adam, and during agonizing waiting, they learned how difficult it is to recover the nearly 2 million children reported missing each year. Linda Otto also states that children are kidnapped every day. In addition, Linda says the movie is not depressing and she sees it as an old-fashioned movie. It sounds really corny, but John Walsh went to Washington and he got a new law enacted. Yeah, too corny. Linda Otto has apparently been involved in the issue of missing children for many years and is the president of the Find the Children, a group she helped start to support organizations that locate missing children. Her office at Alan Landsberg Productions is covered with photographs of missing children. Linda states, they never kidnap children for money. People kidnap children to hurt them. Interesting statement, very black and white. She's stating the only reason people kidnap children is to hurt them, while making a point to emphasize how it is never about money. I wonder what she would say about child pornography. Child pornography is a billion-dollar industry and rising. A New York Times article states, Reve was some 150 feet away and returned in less than 8 minutes. This is false. During interviews of Reve with detectives, the amount of time that she claims to have left Adam alone is inconsistent. The woman goes from 15 minutes to 10 minutes to less than 10 minutes to 5 to 7 minutes to no more than 10 minutes. And apparently now it's less than 8 minutes because Linda Otto and Alan Landsberg Productions just can't get it right, or they're that bad and doubtful. The movie uses this particular case to dramatize the nationwide problem of missing children. There was never a problem of missing children in the context within which it was framed in the movie. They've taken a general statistic on missing children and have applied it to children who are missing due to stranger abductions. Other huge problems are, in fact, that Adam's case has yet to be closed or announced as a cold case when this movie aired. Therefore, it is entirely possible that this was never a stranger abduction. Detectives were smack dab in the middle of trying to solve it, and now a movie is created which compromises this case. The executive producers, Alan Landsberg and Carol L. Fisher, are also directors of Linda Otto's Find the Children organization. This is interesting to note. The subject itself has enormous emotional clout. However, the producers did take out added insurance in the casting of the two key dominant roles, those of the parents of John and Reve Walsh. Insurance? Like, why would they need insurance? In case John or Reve happen to be implicated in the disappearance of their son? Or in the event that this doesn't turn out to be a stranger abduction when you've programmed the world to believe that it was? The first half of this movie focuses on the panic and the growing despair of the parents due to lack of help from authorities outside their own police precedent. State and national agencies do not want to add the burden of looking for missing kids. They want the problem kept at a narrow local level. Much of the film's fury is directed at the Justice Department and the FBI. And here we go. They are giving the public something to place the blame on, thereby creating the need for change, like the implication of new laws. And, just for the record, it is critical to note that I have never seen or read Reve express any guilt for leaving her 6-year-old son alone in Sears, located in a mall. Innocent or not, that is abnormal, and especially if you were innocent, which she claims to be. The second half seems to focus on the strains of the Walsh's marriage as a result of losing Adam. But after going through stacks of sympathetic mail from people throughout the country,
how the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children was created was virtually by my wife sitting in our garage answering every single one of the over 40,000 letters that the post office brought in boxes every day after Adam was found murdered. She wanted to answer each one and to say, I'm going to start a center, I'm going to get a building in DC dedicated to exploitation of children. And then Ronald Reagan stepped up the plate after the Missing Children's Bill was passed. Jay Howell and some people at the Justice Department said we need a center, and the Missing Children's Assistance Bill got written, and Ronald Reagan helped us get that bill passed. That was a battle because it involved money. And I'll never forget, he had me speak at the White House. He symbolically cut the ribbon of the center because we didn't have a building. We were going to rent office space. And they told him, well, John Walsh can't speak in the East Room because it's been reserved throughout history for heads of state. He's just a private citizen. And Ronald Reagan went, I don't give a damn, he's speaking there. So Reagan had us up there. We cut the ceremonial ribbon, and the National Center was launched because of people like Jay Howell, good people, and Ronald Reagan. I don't care what you thought about him. He was a grandfather with a big heart, and he loved children.
Urging them to use the story of Adam to publicize the shocking dimensions of this problem, Reve establishes the Adam Walsh Outreach Center for Missing Children in Broward County, Florida. False. Reve started her organization the evening before she found out that Adam was even dead. Thoughts. If I was a detective, Reve would be my prime suspect, along with John Walsh and John Monahan. Also, I would implicate James Campbell had a role in this as well. I will emphasize Reve based on her behaviors and statements throughout this thread that I'm reading to you and discussing with you. But it was her interview with detectives on November 24th, 1983, that gives me a better understanding of the type of woman that Reve truly is. The function of the Adam movie was predictive programming, to program a specific frame of mind among the nation when it comes to this case and the issue of missing children in general. They do this by framing the context of events a particular way. This is why the media industry is so big, because of the opportunity that they have to immerse control over the mind of people. And there's no better way to frame something other than a movie. You guys, we know the parents are always the number one suspects in these cases. Yet, John and Reve were cleared in a week and allowed to leave the state despite unanswered questions and questionable information that warranted further investigation. Powerful people contrive a horrific situation which evokes fear among the public, thereby establishing motivation within the public to demand action or a solution. And as we know, that solution was already in the works by Senator Hawkins, as we previously discussed. It seems like the government needed a public boost to pass the Missing Children Act. The opportunity could have been presented other than this situation. This is where Reve John Monahan, and an innocent 6-year-old child is literally implicated. And by all means, please note that this is my general hypothesis in which the evidence shows and can implicate the truth. The world premiere of the movie Adam programs fear and panic among the public through this dramatization of a threat, stranger abduction, and the consequences of that threat contingent upon its occurrence in the future. The loss and the ultimate death of your child, intense aversive emotions, feelings of helplessness, marital problems, no help or resources from authorities, which is not true. Like, the police allowed them to create a call center, which compromises this case. How is this possible? How are they able to do this? Just this small, simple family. The public is never provided a reason to suspect John and Reve, but every reason to sympathize with them. The producers program glimmers of hope to leave us feeling like we the people truly have a piece of control. This is exemplified by John and Reve's success in the passage of new laws on missing children and the founding of the clearinghouses within a year of Adam's abduction and murder. This glimmer of hope is literally programming several things indefinitely. That a solution has been found, that our government cares enough to act, the thought that if this is ever an occurrence to you, you can do what John and Reve did, etc. It leaves us with a feeling and sense of control and more aware despite all of the bad, which is not true. On a much deeper and subconscious level, we are significantly less likely to question John and Reve as suspects and significantly more likely to defend them. To do otherwise would require us to re-examine everything we have been conditioned to believe about this case on behalf of John, Reve, and the entire media and entertainment industry, the police department, the government. And this is where the cognitive dissonance comes into play. In other words, if I'm going to consider Reve a suspect, that means that I inevitably must question the role and the motives of the above-mentioned parties in this case. And those above-mentioned parties are the powers that control the narratives in this media, the authority figures we depend on for help in the worst of times, the policymakers and the lobbyists in government, and the president of our country. I refuse to entertain this notion that all of these players were just stupid or just trying to help spread awareness and help children and help find children and help missing children. And that they were so overwhelmed with themselves that they were blind by these facts. The public eye was not blind. The media hid the true facts and key events in this case and left out extreme amount of evidence, especially by creating this movie.
One time from Selenity, I got